My blood sugar is sitting at 76 and stable. Dexcom is kind of reading kind of funny. It'll either read me higher or lower than what I actually am. But I'm going to restart my sensor pretty soon. Hopefully that'll kind of reset it. And I'll be able to get more days out of it. But with that all being said, we'll jump into today's video. Hey everyone, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. And as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be delving into another story time. Again, this is more relatable for any diabetics that have to buy supplies through a pharmacy supplier or a DME or whatever the case. But as you can tell, I'm going to be talking about my experience with Optum Rx and why I don't care for them. I had talked to you guys, maybe briefly mentioned to you in one of my videos when I showed you like how I organize all my medical files and medical papers and important medical documents, that I don't care for Optum Rx, and here's the reason why. So my insurance company still goes through them, but I choose not to use them. Right now I'm kind of looking into pumps and stuff, but if I have to use them for a pump because they give me best deals, that's fine by me. But as far as like the other stuff, like the needles, the lancets, the test strips, I've had so many problems with them. First of all, I would call them or whatever, or send something in, and they would tell me I wouldn't exist as a customer, even though I have existed as a customer since I've been diagnosed on July 22nd, 2018. So they basically don't have their stuff together. Every time I talk to them on the phone, nobody understands or can answer my questions, nor do they direct me to somebody who can answer my question. So it's very, very frustrating, very, very irritating that they can't get their stuff together. And the one person I spoke to didn't even hardly speak English. Not that I'm against people that don't speak English. I'm against people that can't rely on help from somebody else if they don't understand what I'm saying or don't comprehend kind of where I need to go or who I need to speak to get my questions answered, get the service and the care that I need. But that all stuff that doesn't really bother me as much. I can deal with the customer service. I worked in a gas station for almost 3 years. I've seen it all. From various people that don't treat you well and people that do treat you well and know how to understand how to socialize and interact with people both on the phone and in person. But the story I'm going to tell you today is more the diabetic supplies that I got sent to me that were damaged. So for a while I bought my pen needles for my insulin and my lancets, or the things I poke my finger with, which I don't really use a lot of anymore because I have the Dexcom G6. I don't finger stick as much anymore. For testing. So when I was still finger sticking a lot. And one day I opened a box of lancets and test strips. And when I was going to give myself an injection a couple times, I would put the needle on the insulin pen and I'd twist it on. I'd go to prime the pen with my 1 unit or whatever. Nothing would come out. I'm kind of going, well, maybe there's a little air. So I click it again, still nothing would come out. I went through 4 or 5 pushes and putting pressure in that pen. Then I pulled the pen needle off, and inside the pen needle hub where the needle should go through the rubber stopper, the needle was completely bent, like it was bent by a person's fingers or a machine bent it so perfectly that it looked like it was like this. Oh my good Lord, I found about 5 or 6 of those needles that looked like that. And then when I go to put a new needle on, of course, you build up pressure in that insulin pen, so then all of a sudden the 5 units squirts out. And it's like I just wasted 5 units of insulin because the medical supplier can't keep their medical supplies good. And something else too happened with the lancet. I went to go poke my finger one day, and I'm going, well, why won't my finger poke? Put it on the deepest poke, deepest poke, deepest poke. It wouldn't work. I took the lancet out. The lancet wasn't even sharpened. The lancet was squared off like this. It didn't have a little peak and point on it. It was squared off and level. How do you expect me to prick my finger with a squared off lancet and give myself injections when I can't even get insulin delivered from the insulin body of the pen through the needle into my subcutaneous tissue? How do you expect me to do that? So I sent them the damaged supplies via registered mail. I sent them letters and emails and calls demanding to get a refund or demanding that they replace the needles and the lancets that I had were damaged, and I never heard from them. It's been 6 months and I haven't heard from them. So therefore, You don't want to treat a customer like me right and don't want to care about me as a diabetic and care about me getting these supplies that are literally a matter of life or death. I'm not going to use you. It's not going to be worth it to me. So if I don't have to use them for future things, I'm not going to. I've had such a poor experience with them via customer service and via the stuff I got that I don't even want to think about using them anymore. Now, I am bashing them because of my bad experience. If you use Optum Rx and have a great experience with them, I'm happy for you. Again, what works for one diabetic doesn't work for another. So how do I get my Lancets and my needles? Well, I have so many Lancets I don't even know where to count because they would give you like a 3-month supply. As far as needles are concerned, I buy my needles from Amazon. I'll leave a link to them down below. They're fairly cheap. You can buy like 400 needles for $50 or $60, and they work beautifully. They're called Easy Touch needles that are 31 gauge by 5 millimeters. And I like that gauge, and I like that needle length. But I do believe they make needles in different sizes for those of you that prefer the longer pen needles and for those of you that prefer the shorter pen needles. And that's part of the reason why I didn't like Optum Rx is they were sending me Novo Nordisk needles. They did fit on the Eli Lilly pens, but they were kind of like tipping off sometimes, and the insulin would back leak out of my body. And they were sending me 32 gauge needles, which are a little bit thinner because, like I said, the higher the gauge number, the thinner the metal. The length was still the same, but the thinner gauge made the insulin back leak out of my body. But for whatever reason, going to a 31 gauge needle, just a slightly thicker needle, does not allow insulin to back leak from my body. So I'm able to buy these needles from Amazon. They work just as well. I don't struggle to put them on. They're kind of like a cheaper, more generic version of the BD pen needles. For any of you that have used those BD pen needles, the ones that are colored purple and green and all the different colors. Well, the ones I originally used were the purple pen needles, the 5 millimeter by 31 gauge. Those were great. But you know the BD needles are marked up extremely high. Well, these are made from a small company, and they are marked at about $15 to $20 a box. So you're able to get them very reasonably and get 100 needles in a box. So I order them at like 4 at a time, and that'll last me 3 to 4 months depending on how many injections I do. So it's great. I've been able to do it that way, and obviously I use Gentile, so I buy my own Gentile Lancets, and I have a back stock of the One Touch Delica Lancets from the previous experience I had with Optum. I was able to get a refund through my credit card company because I reported it to my credit card holder that through the help of a couple other family members that I had damaged medical goods that I had purchased through them, and I want a credit back. I want it back on my card. I can send you pictures. I can send you this. I can give you documents from them, receipts that I paid it at this time, and they didn't even need any of that. They totally trusted me to give them the honest truth that I did have damaged medical goods, and they refunded me my money back. So that worked out. I got my $112.50 back that I wasted on bent needles and Lancets, and I just wasn't going to deal with them anymore, and I don't think I want to deal with them anymore just because of what they've been doing to me, but like I said, if you are a type 1 diabetic or have another medical condition or the other kind of diabetes, like a type 2 or whatever, and you've dealt with them, great, and you've had nothing but great experiences, I'm happy for you. But I personally don't like the way they flow. They don't flow well with me. They don't flow well with sending me good supplies. And I'm able to find supplies cheaper through other sources and pay as I go kind of thing instead of being kind of forced to buy them every 3 months. Better quality, knowing that they're not damaged. And I buy these from Amazon and they get shipped to my house. And I have not found one damaged needle. Not one. Not one damaged Lancet, not one damaged needle from this company through Amazon that I ordered through. Isn't that crazy? Again, I'll leave the link to where I buy my needles down below if you want to check those out for those of you that are on multiple daily injections like myself. As of right now, I'm looking into the insulin pumps. I just want better control with my basal rate. Not saying I don't have decent control now, but it's kind of a pain in the rear sometimes. You're kind of trusting on basal. Insulin to not work very well, and I'm just kind of getting sick and tired of sticking myself with needles constantly, 24/7. And it's not like I don't mind the injections. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I can get my insulin this way, but I'm a very busy and active 20-year-old girl. I don't need to be sticking myself 6 to 10 times a day, which is what I do currently because I believe in normal glycemia. Again, I'm going to talk to you all about that later. I believe in maintaining blood sugars between 70 and 140, and even more ideally between 70 and 120, which is even more closer to a non-diabetic's blood sugar range. And in order to do that, if you're on multiple daily injections, I hate to break it to you, you got to do more than the 4 shots a day that they give you. You got to be willing to dose in between time, and I don't think I would be being as bold with my insulin if I didn't have a CGM. I wouldn't be dosing myself as much. But if you're on a CGM, you can kind of tell how a certain amount of insulin works, what your sensitivity is. You can kind of tell how long insulin is active in your body for certain times of whatever you're dealing with. You get the point here. But sticking myself 6 to 10 times a day is kind of a pain in the rear, and that's why I'm looking into insulin pumps. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this kind of long, drawn-out story about what happened to me with Optum Rx, why I will not go through Optum Rx anymore if I can avoid it, and kind of how that went. I will be sure to insert pictures here of the damaged medical goods so you can see for yourself. But they were damaged, and I didn't appreciate the way they were treating me, but I was able to get a refund, and I've been able to find better supplies since then that are a lot cheaper and work better for me in the meantime until I get switched over to some sort of insulin pump if I do decide to go with an insulin pump. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. I post videos every week about diabetes, plus more about my life. And be sure to share this video with anybody that may have had problems with Optum Rx. And just so you know, you're not alone. I've dealt with them. I dealt with them a lot, and I don't appreciate what they've done. I don't appreciate how they've treated me, and that's why I won't use them anymore. So until tomorrow for another video, take care, God bless, be kind, spread positivity, and be thankful. Bye, everyone.